Good day, and welcome to Tayug National High School. September has been declared the National Science Club Month under Presidential Proclamation number 264 series of 2002. The said proclamation authorizes the Department of Education, Department of Science and Technology Science Education Institute, and the Philippine Society of Youth Science Club to implement plans and activities pertinent to the National Science Club Month. In line with this, the Science Department shall conduct the 2021 National Science Club Month celebration. Activities shall be headed by the PSYSC, YESO, Research Consortium, and Robotics. In this connection, we welcome you to our first activity, the Virtual Symposium 2021. With that, let us all stand and sing the Philippine National Anthem, followed by a prayer through an audio-visual presentation.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, helas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa dagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitingin. Lumalang araw ng walhabing pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hindi kaya na pagkay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Our speaker is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, Leadership Awardee at Pangasinan State University, Bayambang Campus. She is a licensed professional teacher, an implementation specialist. She is a former STEM robotics educator, a robotics coordinator. She is a champion for international robotics competition and a champion for national robotics competition at De La Salle Lipa. She is a certified STEM robotics instructor Vex IQ by CM Asia. She is no other than Ms. Rysel S. Sagun. A round of applause, please.
Hi everyone, good day to all of you. So before I start my presentation, I would like to say thank you to our school administrators and to our dear teachers who gave me an invitation to be one of your speakers about robotics. So by the way, let me introduce myself to you. I'm Ms. Russell Sagan, an implementation specialist in one of the learning management system provider here in the Philippines. Ayan. So my work is still connected with technology. But before this one, I work as a STEM with robotics educator. in UST Angelicum College of Quezon City and St. Clair's School of Cavite for 4 years. And just like your teachers, I'm also a teacher by profession and by heart. Hopefully, with this presentation, I can share to you my knowledge and experience in robotics. So without much ado, let us talk about robotics. So before I start or introduce to you my topic, simulan muna natin sa mga myth about robotics. Ano ba yung mga haka-haka tungkol sa robotics? Unang-una, if you are going to study about robotics or if we are going to enhance our robotics, we are going to lose our job. Ayan, sabi nga nila, pagdating ng araw daw, yung mga robots, papalitan na nila yung mga trabaho ng tao. This is a myth. Yes, one robot can do the job of 20 people, but the question is, sino ba yung mag-ooperate ng robot? Sino yung mag-program ng robot? It is still the human person. So, siguro, may mga malilay off na mga work dahil nga may automation na due to robotics, pero yung production mag-i-increase. At kapag nag-increase ang production sa isang kumpanya, ibig sabihin, mag-a-arise ang maraming job opportunities. So you cannot lose your job because of robots. Okay? Number 2, robots are dangerous. Ayan na. Sino dito ang mga fanatic ng mga Decepticons? Ayan, mga Autobots. Ayan, kinalakhan niyo siguro yan. Or baka kami lang sa generation namin. Ayan, sa mga sci-fi movie kasi napapanood natin, yung mga kalaban ay robots. So marami sa atin, akala nila pag robots or robotics, natatakot na sila because of that misconception. And this is a myth. Robots are not dangerous. They are actually an aid to the human beings para mas mapadali ang trabaho natin. Number 3, robots are hard to operate. Ayan, pang genius lang daw to. Yung mga paborito lang ang subject na science, yung mga magagaling lang sa klase, yung mga top section lang, yung mga special science classes lang ang dapat nagro-robotics. That is a misconception. No, robotics is for everyone. Okay, and I hope as I share with you this presentation, mas mag-grasp natin bakit robotics is for everyone. No? So, si robotics or ang mga robots are not hard to operate. Para lang din siyang ABCD. We need to learn from the basic before we go through doon sa mga mahirap na programming. Number 4, I lose control of my station. Marami sa mga estudyante na takot sa technology. Ayan. 'Di ba? Nung nag-pandemic, mas naging adaptive tayo sa technology. Yung adaptation natin mas bumilis kasi nga online class na kayo or siguro modular na kayo, may times lang na nag-online kayo with your teacher. Just like this one, this is a webinar. Wala man tayo face-to-face but we are talking, we are sharing, we are learning. Tama ba? Di ba? So, marami takot sa atin humawak ng robots kasi baka masira or baka hindi niya kayang paganahin, hindi niya alam mag-program. Even before, may mga estudyante ako na takot din humawak ng gadget. At nakakatawa these times, lahat ng mga estudyante natin in Z generation, you are very adaptive with the technologies. No? So this is a myth. You cannot lose control of your station just because you are working on with robots. Number 5, I'll just be a button pusher. Ayan. So yung mga magagaling lang ang magpo-program, yung mga magagaling lang ang kailangan mag-aral dyan, ako na lang yung pipindot ng program. Ako na lang yung mag-run. So this is a myth. You are not just a button pusher here in learning robotics. Indeed, you are the one who needs to create the robot. Ikaw yung mag-assemble at ikaw din ang magpo-program yan. So you are not just a button pusher. So those are the 5 myths in robotics. And I hope, as we go through with our discussion, yung mga myth na to, yung mga haka-haka natin about robotics, yung mga kinakatakutan nyo, ayaw ko ng robotics, hindi ako magaling sa science, mawala yon. Okay? So my topic is all about robotics for 21st century learners. So sino ba yung mga 21st century learners? Kayo yun. Ibig sabihin, robotics is for everyone. So why 21st century learners, Miss Rysel? So according to study, these are the 21st century learners skills na kailangan meron kayo to be globally prepared, to be globally competitive. So we know that our workforce is changing, nagbabago. So ito daw yung mga skills na meron kayo. You are an innovator, a self-directed learner, globally aware. You are a communicator, civilly engaged, a problem solver, financially and economically literate, information and media literate, critical thinker, and so on. So with these skills, ayan, actually, robotics is very adaptive, or with learning in robotics, all of these skills are actually enhanced. You will be globally prepared just because of learning in robotics. So ang robotics ay hindi lamang para gumaling ka sa pagpo-program ng robot, but robotics learning or robotics education is for you to prepare the 21st century skills that you need in the future. Okay? And I just want to share, yan, si Miss Rysel dati, she is a biology teacher. Ayan, that was my picture when I had my practice teaching in the public school. At dati, alam niyo ba si Miss Rysel, takot akong gumamit ng mga gadget. Kapag magta-turn on lang ako ng computer, nanginginig na ako. And imagine, a biology teacher na, yes, it's connected with science, pero di ba, hindi siya connected masyado sa mga manipulation ng robots. Tama ba? More on biology is we learn about botany, zoology, plants, animals. How come si Miss Rysel naging STEM robotics instructor? Di ba? From someone na takot sa technology noon, how come yung work niya ngayon is napunta sa mga technology? So what I am pointing out here is ang robotics ay hindi lamang sa mga estudyante na mahilig sa manipulation of robots. Anyone can learn robotics. Okay? And given the chance that I became a STEM robotics instructor, I also became a coach of an international robotics competition, and with God's grace, we won during that competition. Ayan. So this happened in Angeles, Pampanga, an international robotics competition na dito ginanap sa Pilipinas. Yeah. So from someone na takot sa technology to someone that will now teach you about robotics that is very connected with our technological innovation today. So ano ba yung robotics education, Miss Rysel? First, let me define to you what is robotics. Robotics is an interdisciplinary field that integrates computer science and engineering. Robotics involves design, construction, operation, and use of robots. The goal of robotics is to design machine that can help and assist human. Miss Rysel, ang lalim naman nun. High school student lang ako. Bakit yan na ang pag-aaralan namin? Magdi-design na kami agad ng robots. So again, another misconception, kapag sinabi nating robotics education, ito agad ang iniisip ng mga estudyante. So this, the picture in the left side, this is a medical robot. And the picture in the right side, this is an aid robot. Yung para siyang dun sa mga receptionist sa mga hotel. Ayan. So akala natin agad, ganyan ang gagawin natin na robot agad-agad. Tama ba? Ako din yun yung conception ko dati. Pag robotics, hala, tech yan, mahirap yan. Pero, in the robotics education, our educators use different materials, use different programmings, and use different platforms. Okay? So, para siyang basic ng mga education. Kailangan mo munang matutunan ng ABCD before mo matutunan ang addition, subtraction, or multiplication. Tama? Before ka mag-write ng words, ng sentences, and paragraph, kailangan matutunan si ABCD. So, ganun din sa robotics. So, ano yung mga nakita nating picture dito? So, this one is an NXT from Lego Mindstorm. Ito yung may robotics kit si Lego na una niyang nilaunch. So, actually, ang tawag na namin dito is an obsolete robot na ginagamit sa robotics education kasi lumang-luma na siya. And dahil nga, kailangan mag-upgrade ni Lego Mindstorm, nilabas siya yung bago, the EV3. This one. Okay? And next, we have here the Vex IQ. Ito naman yung ginagamit ng mga robotics instructors sa Amerika. So this one, si NXT EV3, is more of, this is a Malaysian brand robotics kit. And Arduino, ayan, ginagamit yan in different countries. And I believe in your school, ito yung robotic material na ginagamit ninyo. Okay? So ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin robotics, hindi agad-agad na yung sobrang ang dami na natin wires na gagamitin. So, it will depend pa kung anong gamit natin material. Okay? And of course, for today, since I'm a Vex IQ instructor certified, ang isi-share ko sa inyo is all about Vex IQ. So, ito yung platform na gagamitin natin. So, what is Vex IQ education? So, to start with, I will turn off my video and please, as I turn off my video, let us watch this introduction about what is Vex IQ education.
Hi everyone, Tyler here with Vex IQ, the programmable snap-together system designed to teach STEM and coding skills in a fun and exciting way. Vex IQ is part of our pre-K through college continuum geared towards elementary and middle school students to build STEM skills that easily transition into the real world. The Vex IQ Super Kit allows students to build their robots using the Vex Plastic Construction System, a system designed around a wide range of easy-to-snap-together pieces for speed and versatility in the classroom. Vex IQ is easy for students who are just starting out, but also fun and engaging for the most advanced users, meaning your students will be able to jump right in at any point and begin learning fast. Many of the pieces even come in a variety of colors, so they can customize their robot even further. Once built, you can engage your STEM students in project-based learning using Vex IQ Stem Labs. These plug-in lessons fit into your existing curriculum and provide supplemental activities for your students to explore and hone their understanding of engineering, programming, and the technology they're using to complete their tasks. STEM Labs also incorporate coding through the Vex Code IQ app. Here, students can use a simple drag-and-drop interface to program their robot, or, for more advanced students, code using C++ programming language. The best part is that Vex Code IQ works with laptops, desktops, Chromebooks, and tablets, so your students will be coding wherever they are. For educators, Vex offers a free online professional development course for you to advance your abilities and provide a more meaningful learning experience for your students by giving you the skills needed to bring Vex IQ into your classroom. And if they're interested in putting their skills and teamwork to the test, Vex Robotics hosts thousands of local competitions for students all over the world to complete a challenge with one another using a robot of their own design. To get involved, the Vex IQ Competition Super Kit will kickstart any new team, giving them the tools to succeed. For more details about Vex IQ, professional development, STEM labs, and how to get your class involved in Vex and the Vex IQ Challenge, visit getstarted.vex.com. Vex IQ gives your students the opportunity to grow their STEM abilities no matter what classroom they're in. Take STEM learning to the next level with Vex IQ.
Get a
Alright, so thank you so much for listening to that video. So that is an introduction about Vex IQ. So just in case that you would like also to go back to the video, you can just watch again this recorded session, or you can simply search in YouTube. There are a lot of platforms there that will give you a background about robotics. So robotics is not only for the future, it is also by the present. So by familiarizing students with programming, sensors, and automation, they hone critical computational thinking skills needed to succeed in both the 21st century workforce and in everyday life. Beyond science and engineering principles, Beck's robotic solutions encourage creativity, teamwork, leadership, passion, and problem solving among groups. Okay? So sa Vex IQ Robotics ay hindi lamang ginagamit for pre-LM but across all grade levels ay pwede nilang pag-aralan si Vex Robotics. And of course, sabi ko nga sa inyo, in learning about robotics, we need to know the ABCs. So, nung nagtuturo ako ng robotics, ang una ko itinuturo sa mga estudyante ko are the parts of our Vex IQ Kit. So, actually, in some online platforms na mga shopping, you can actually order this one. Hindi ko lang alam kung how much ang price nito ngayon. But for your reference, what are the different parts of the Vex IQ Robotics? Meron ako nilagay na link dito. Ayan. So, papahapyawan ko lang sa inyo, ano ba yung mga Vex IQ Robotics materials? Kasi, kung ituturo ko to sa inyo ngayon, hindi magkakasya yung isang oras. Kaya nilagay ko yung link in your free time. Please go through the link. And you can have here, you will be directed to this website at nandyan yung introduction about Vex IQ Kit. Ayan. With all the parts. And then, narito din yung kanyang mga parts and functions. So, parang katawan lang din ng tao. Parang pag nag-aaral kayo sa science, what are the different sensory organs in a human person. So, dito rin, you need to understand para saan ba yung mga components ng ating mga robotics material. For example, for the robot brain, the foundation of the Vex IQ electronics is the robot brain. The brain has a wide variety of onboard programming which can be selected on its LED. Okay? So, hindi ko na ito babasahin lahat-lahat. In your free time, this is my assignment to you. Please read the parts and functions of the different parts of Vex IQ Robotics. Okay. So, parang human person, we have senses. Ang robotics natin, o mga robotics platforms natin, ay meron ding mga sensors. For Vex IQ, meron siyang gyro sensor. Si gyro sensor can sense yung ilang degrees ang natuturn ng robot, kaya nagiging automated yung kanyang turning, kung kailangan niya mag-turn left or turn right. Yung bumper switch, ito na-detect niya kapag merong object na na-bump ang isang robotics material natin. Si touch LED, once touch, nagpapalit-palit ito ng mga colors, and then kapag na-touch mo yan, magra-run yung robot mo. Kaya siya tinawag na touch LED. Nakaka-receive siya ng sensor of touch. For the distance sensor, ito naman yung parang pinaka-mata ng mga robot natin. Kasi, madedetect niya how far is the object or how near is the object. Kaya siya tinawag na distance sensor. For the color sensor, this one, may tinatawag kasi tayong line tracing, color sensor tracing sa ating robotics. So, ito na-detect niya yung mga colors, na-detect niya yung line. So, usually ginagamit namin to ng aking mga estudyante through a line tracing or kung merong mga color detection. Okay? So, parang tao din, ang mga robots natin, may mga sensory sila para magawa nila yung automated tasks. As for the structure, ayan, and add-on kit, nandyan po lahat yan. So, please read this one so that you will know how the robot works by knowing its parts and functions. So, going back to my presentation, so naituro ko na sa inyo na in learning about robotics na ang platform na ginamit ko ngayon is Vex IQ, you need to know first the parts and functions. Tama? Or ang tanong nyo siguro sa akin, ayan, So, now that we know the parts and function, Miss Rysel, ano na yung ginagawa ng mga estudyante ninyo? So, now that they know the parts and functions, we now create robots. Ayan. So, let me introduce to you the different types of robots na meron kay Vex IQ. Ayan. So, let us watch this video. Alright, so once again, thank you so much for watching that video. So those are the basic different kinds of robot that you can create with our Vex IQ Kit. Ayan. So your question might be, Miss Rysel, paano naman nag-create ng mga robot ang mga estudyante nila? From scratch po ba? Or meron tayong building guide? Yan. So, may nilagay din ako ditong building instructions link guide. Pag pinuntahan nyo yan, you will be directed to this website. Ayan. So, nandyan na po yung ating mga different kinds of robot that you can build. And then, nariyan din ang ating mga building instructions. Ayan. So, there are times that I let my students create their own design of robots, but due to some challenges or some tasks na kailangan nilang i-accomplish, meron kaming mga robots na pinipili for that certain task na pwede nilang gawin. So this one, ang gagawin nyo lang sa website na yon, pipili ng robot, then maglo-load na yung building guide natin. You can download this building guide in PDF form. Ayan. So kung meron kayong Vex IQ Kit, you can simply download this PDF and create your robot. Medyo loading lang yung screen ni Ms. Rysel. So ano ba meron dito sa building guide natin? So nandyan yung name ng robot, si Stretch Build Instruction. Itong si Stretch, I remember, ito yung robot na ginamit namin during the International Roboton Competition. And then ang ginawa na lang namin dito ay nag-modify kami. And yun nga, we are happy na with those modification, we were able to win the championship in the International Robotics Competition. So, ito yung building guide niya. So, nandyan yung mga instructions para saan yung mga pins na yan at yung mga beams na yan. So, these are called beams. Ayan. Yung color blue, yung dyan yung nilalagay sa mabutas with are called pins. So, pwede mo rin tanggalin yung pins by pushing it with another beam. Ayan. And these are the different parts then na kailangan mo to build that robot. Nandiyan na yung ilang pieces ng part na to, ilang pieces ng gear, and other materials. Ayan. So these are beams. And then, after na meron ka na lahat ng parts, nandiyan na yung building guide. So may step-by-step process yan na kailangan mo sundan until such, dito sa pinakahuli, you were able to build the stretch bot. Si Vex IQ pala, meron niyang kasamang remote control. So you can let this robot move by programming, or you can simply use the remote control. Okay? Ayan. So again, nandito na yung link para sa mga building guide instructions ng mga robot na pwede nyong gawin using the Vex IQ Kit. Alright? And the question is, ayan. So, paano yan, Ms. Rysel? Magpo-program kami ng robot pero wala kaming material. Wala kaming Vex IQ Kit. Arduino meron kami. So, mamaya meron akong surprise sa inyo. So, let us talk first about Vex IQ programming. So, robotics programming is the set of coded commands or instructions that tell a mechanical device and electronic system known together as robot what tasks to perform. Robot software is used to perform autonomous tasks. Okay? So, for you to let your robot do an autonomous task, kailangan mo siyang i-program. So, you are the brain of your own robot. Ikaw ang magiging programmer niyan. So, baka ang iniisip nyo, Miss Rysel, ang hirap ng programming. Ang hirap mag-coding. Wala akong alam sa computer. Wala akong alam sa programming. Okay? Don't worry kasi sa robotics, there are different kinds of programming being used. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, kailangan nyo munang matutunan yung basic before you go doon sa mahirap. Okay? And for the Vex IQ, one program na ginagamit nila is the graphical programming. So doon muna tayo sa madali. So what is a graphical programming? The graphical approach to programming allows a computer to process spatial representations in 2 or more dimensions in contrast to text-based programming, which uses lines of code. Graphical programming replaces text with pictures or symbol or physical things. So usually nakikita natin, lalo yung mga nag-HTML coding, sila yung nagko-code ng mga letters or may numbers para ma-accomplish nila ang isang program. So dito, gagamitin natin yung graphical programming ni Vex IQ. Another question na ito na yun, Miss Rysel, wala kaming robot. Paano tayo ngayon mag-aaral mag-program? Don't worry kasi I prepared a virtual programming for you. Pwede kayong matutong mag-program through a virtual mode. So, ito, nilagay ko ulit yung link. Pupuntahan nyo lang yung link na to. And then you will be directed to Vex Code Virtual. Ayan. Again, the type of programming being used here is what we call graphical programming. Yan, delete lang ako. Okay. So as you can see, as you go to the website, hindi ka na magla-login, hindi ka na magsa-sign up, directly mapupunta ka sa kanyang programming website. Okay? So ituro ko muna paano ba mag-program dito. So unang-una, yung parang globe na nakikita niyo dyan, this is where you choose kung anong language ang gusto mong gamitin. Ayan, so for now, English tayo. As for the file, dalawa lang ituturo ko muna sa inyo dito kasi this is your basic lang in programming. Pwede kayo ditong mag-save ng program at pwede kayo ditong mag-load ng program galing sa computer natin. Okay? Save from your device, the program that you created here, or ilo-load natin yung program na galing sa ating device. Just in case you would like to know more about this Vex virtual programming, meron tayong mga tutorials. Andyan lahat ang getting started, moving and removing blocks, nandyan. But mamaya magde-demo rin ako. The next, ano pa po ba ang pwede nating makita sa upper part? Nandyan din yung mga activities. Ayan. So if you would like to know more about Vex virtual programming, meron dito mga activities. At nandyan lahat ng kanyang mga explanation how to do the activities. So para siyang may mga mini games ang tawag dito. Pero dito, it calls as the activities. Okay? Next is, ano pang makikita natin dyan? if you would like to learn more, just click learn. Ayan. So, meron tayong parang online course na pwedeng aralin para malaman natin yung basic ng virtual programming using graphical program. Okay? And next, ayan, yung undo dito sa do, mamaya ipapakita ko anong gamit niya. Yung undo and redo. And then playground, ayan, pag clinic ko yan, pwede akong pumili ng aking virtual playground. So usually, ang ginagamit ko dito sa mga beginners are yung grid map. Ayan, naglo-loading lang siya. O, diba? Basta meron kayong internet connection, you can program a robot virtually. Ayan. So, this is a grid map at kung gusto mong palitan yung iyong playground, marami kang choices. Okay? And next is, ayan, pag gusto mo na i-start yung program mo, just click start. Pag gusto mo yung another step lang gagawin niya, just click step. You can share also your program. Okay? So, close ko lang yung aking background. So, for now, hindi na tayo mag-share. Okay? So, right now, sabi ko nga, dun muna tayo sa basic. Tuturuan ko kayo how to program using the basic movement. Ano ba yung mga basic movement ng isang robot? It is a forward, backward, turn left, and turn right. Okay? So, we should also know that yung shape ng gulong ng robot natin are circle. Ibig sabihin, kung circle yan, ilang degrees meron sa isang circle? It is 360 degrees. Tama? Ayan. So, tandaan natin lagi yon na ang gulong ng robot natin ay circle. So, meron siyang 360 degrees. Yan. So, meron po talagang connection si robotics sa ating mathematics and science. So, balik ako sa aking virtual programming. So, yung mga nakikita natin dito is si drivetrain, magnet. Those are different types of codes na pwede nyong gamitin. So, itong nakikita natin ito na forward, ang kakailangan lang i-click yan. And then, ida-drag and drop natin dito sa yellow. Okay? At kung gusto mong magbura, click mo lang itong drop mo, then backspace. Okay? For example, this one, forward. And then, nakita nyo dito, meron parang arrow. Pag click nyo yan, makikita nyo yung kanyang programming code. So, sa Vex Virtual, pwede ka mag-program gamit ang mga graphical representation. Or kung ikaw ay magaling na programmer na, pwede ka mag-program dito using text. Okay? O, dahil nga beginner lang tayo, dito lang muna tayo sa graphical. So, ano naman ito? Yan, dyan yung makikita naman yung ano yung mga sensors na ginagamit ng robot nyo. Pag sinabi nating variables, ano yung mga nakikita niya? So, for now, dahil nga basic muna tayo, hindi ko rin muna i-discuss yan. Okay? So, ito, again, paano tayo mag-drag and drop ng program? So, paano mag-delete? I-click mo lang and then backspace. I-click mo yung graphical program, then ida-drag mo, then ida-drop mo lang. Okay? So, usually, dito rin sa pinakababa, meron tayo dyang makikitang comment. Kapag nagpapaprogram ako sa mga estudyante ko, I let them use this comment. So, para saan ba si comment? Para meron kang pinaka-guide or code kung ano yung program na ginagawa mo. For example, ayan, i-click ko lang yung parang pinaka-text dyan sa comment. Then, ilalagay ko dyan, move forward. Yan. Okay? Ibig sabihin, wala pang nangyayari sa program natin dyan. Naglagay ka lang ng comment. Okay? So, for example, ito yung first task ko sa inyo. Okay? Ang first task ko sa inyo, example, is create a square movement. Gagawa ka ng square movement using your robot. Okay? So with that task, paano mo ipoprogram si robot? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, para saan ang programming? For you to program your robot to do a certain task. And what is the task? To do a square movement. So, ang kailangan mo dyan is to move forward. Nakita niyo ang kinuha ko move forward, yung may numbers. Kasi, i-estimate ko kung ganong kalayo yung kanyang i-move forward. And as you can see, meron ditong millimeters and inches. So, kung gusto mong mag-move yung robot mo in 200 millimeters ang piliin mo. Kung 200 inches ang gagamitin mo. Masyadong mahaba yon ang inches. In 1 centimeter, ilang millimeter meron doon? 10. Ayan. In 1 centimeter, meron 10 millimeter. So, pag 200 ang nilagay mo dyan, ibig sabihin, ilang centimeter meron doon? 20. And kung tama ang math ko. Okay? Yan. Kung 200 millimeter yan, i-divide natin sa 10. Yan. So, yon. So, this one, ang gagamitin kong distance is millimeter. So, paano ko siya i-start at makikita yung movement ng robot ko? I will click start. Yan. Make sure na yung map natin ay grind map. Wala munang pipili ng ibang virtual background. Okay. And then, sa bandang baba dito, papakita ko lang. Yan. Pag pinindot ko itong play, mag-move yung robot ko, makikita nyo? Yan. Nag-move siya, di ba? Then, pwede kong i-reset. Babalik siya sa kanyang dating pwesto. Ano naman yung mga view na to? These are view natin dun sa robot. Yan. I-run ko. So, mag-move yung robot. Ayan. Okay? So, ito yung top view. Ayan. Front view and side view. Okay? So, kung anong gusto nyong view ng robot ninyo, yan ang piliin natin. So, back tayo. So, as you can see, ang goal natin is to create a square movement. So, i-close ko na to. Ayan. So, masyadong maliit ang 200. So, how about gawin ko siyang 400 millimeter? So, nag-forward na siya ng 400 millimeter at para makapagawa ng square movement, kailangan niya mag-turn. Tama? Ayan. Kunin ko sa turn. The question is, mag-turn left ba siya or turn right? So, pag ipapakita ko lang ulit yung background natin, yung playground natin, si grind map. Pag nag-turn left siya, tatama siya sa pader. Tama ba? Ayan, run ko lang ha. Ayan. So, right now, hindi ko tatanggalin ko yan. Kukunin ko yung turn right. Ayan. So, itong turn right na to, pwede mo palitan yan ng turn left. Okay? For now, turn right ako kasi kung turn left, tatama siya sa pader. And then, ano po ba itong 90 degrees? Ito yung degrees of turn niya. So, pag 90 degrees, ito yung robot mo, gaganyan siya. So, dapat may 90 degrees turn siya. Okay? So, try natin. Start ko po yung ating program. Yan. So, I'm sorry. Medyo nagkaroon lang ng lagging sa internet connection ni Ms. Rizel. Okay. So let me click File and save this to my device bago ako mag-refresh ng aking browser. Para sure ako na na-save ko muna yung program na ginagawa ko at pwede kong balikan later on yan. I-refresh ko lang yung browser ko kasi humina ang internet connection in our area. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so moving on, let us try again to run the program. Ayan, okay na siya. And then, allow me to run my program. So nakita nyo, nag-turn yung robot ng 90 degrees. Okay? Nag-branch forward siya and then nag-90 degrees turn. So sabi doon sa ating task, kailangan niyang gumawa ng square movement. So pwede ko naman ang gagawin ko, ika-copy ko na maglalagay ulit ako ng forward and then another 400 degrees. And then magta-turn right ulit ako. Another 90 degrees. Then forward 400 degrees. Ilalagay ko na lang dito square movement. Yan. So magpo-forward, magta-turn 90 degrees, then forward, turn 90 degrees, and then another 90 degrees, and then forward ulit ng 400, and then turn right 90 degrees. Yan. So tingnan natin kung makaka-create na siya ng square movement. I-run ko ulit yung program ko. And then, forward. Turn 90 degrees, forward. Turn 90 degrees, forward. Turn 90 degrees, forward. Turn 90 degrees. Okay. So, until such na nakabalik na yung robot ko sa kanyang pwesto. So, nakakreate na siya ng square movement. Okay? So, as you can see, ang haba ng program na ito. Tama? Ayan. So, ngayon, ang next task ko sa inyo, di ba nakapag-move forward tayo, basic movement natin. Ngayon naman, mag-use tayo ng loops. Para saan ba ang use ng loops? Ang gamit ng loops, nasa bandang baba yan. Again, mga basic programming language pa lang ang tuturo ko sa inyo. Yung repeat, ayan, meron tayong repeat forever. Ibig sabihin, uulitin niya ng paulit-ulit yung program na ito, na ilalagay natin sa loob niya, forever. Yan, sana all may forever. Yung repeat until, ayan, 10 times, kung ilang beses lang natin isi-set, dun lang niya paulit-ulit gagawin yung program. Dun mo tayo sa repeat until. Okay? Ayan. Dinag and drop ko lang ulit yon. Ilagay ko lang yung program ko dito sa taas. Yan. So, ang ilalagay ko dito, yan, 4. Tapos, i-delete ko na itong iba. Yan. Magpo-forward, turn right, forward, turn right lang siya. Okay. Tingnan ko kung magagawa niya pa rin yung square movement using the repeat until 4 times. So, nakita nyo, mas umikli ang program. Tingnan natin kung same movement lang ang gagawin. Yan. So, I'm sorry with my internet connection. Medyo loading lang. Ayan. Let us just wait. Refresh ko ulit yung browser ko. Okay, for the meantime, ayan. Ayan. So, okay na. So, try natin kung same task ang magagawa niya. Start ko lang yung program natin. Medyo loading lang talaga yung ating programming window. Ayan. So, let us run the program. Forward. Turn right. Isang beses niya na ginawa. Forward. Turn right. Dalawang beses niya na ginawa. Tatlo. Then apat. Okay? So, same lang ang kanyang ang kanyang movement na nagawa, pero mas maikli yung program natin. So, that is the use of loops para mas mapaikli natin yung ating programming code at mas mapadali ang ating pag-program. Okay? Again, we have two kinds of loops here na itinuro ko. Una is repeat until, kung ilang beses niya uulitin yung nasa loob ng program na to. And yung repeat forever, pag yan ang ginawa natin, paulit-ulit niyang gagawin to, walang stop, forever. Okay? Sana all may forever. So, my assignment for you, since free naman na makakapunta tayo sa Vex IQ Virtual Programming, let me again present to you my screen. Ayan, using the basic movement, your forward, turning, and backward, ayan, go to point A to point B. So, ito yung task natin. So, I hope gawin natin to in our free time. So, ang gagawin nyo lang, to do that task, punta ka kay playground, and then, click mo po si grind map, yung drop-down arrow dyan, then you will choose wall maze. Okay? Yan. So, si wall maze, this one is another playground para mas ma-hone nyo pa yung skill niya sa pagproprogram ng basic movement natin. And your task and assignment is go from point A to point B. So, ito yung itsura ng ating virtual background. Yan. So, medyo naglo-loading lang talaga. I'm sorry with that. So, punta ako kay background ulit. I will choose wall maze. And this is how it looks like. Sana mag-load. Okay. Ayan. So, since ayan na siya. So, your goal here or your task here is to move your robot from point A to point B. Ayan. So, hopefully in your free time, that is my assignment for you. Please go to this Vex IQ Virtual Programming and practice the basic movement that I taught you. Okay? So, close ko na itong virtual programming natin. So, again, kapag nagpo-program tayo kay robotics, not necessarily kailangan natin ng actual robot. Yan, medyo mahal talaga yung robotics kit. Kung wala yan sa school ninyo, wala niyan si teacher. At ngayon nga ay pandemic, we can always use the virtual programming. This is free. Kailangan mo lang ng internet connection. And I hope you do your assignment and maybe for you to do the task, siguro pwede niyo yan isend sa inyong teacher. Nasa kanya kung ipapa-require niyang mag-video kayo na nagpo-program and then go from point A to point B. Okay, so naka-teacher na yung final decision for this one. But for me, I hope you still try to do this task. Okay, so your question might be, ayan, so naibigay ko na sa inyo ang mini background or introduction about Vex Iq Robotics. So in learning robotics, kailangan muna natin malaman talaga yung kanyang mga basic. Unang-una, to know the different parts of the robot. Next is to create the robots. Kailangan mo ng mga building instructions and kailangan mong malaman anong use ng kanyang mga parts. And after that, you are ready to program. Just in case you don't have a Vex Iq kit, you can program through a free platform ng Vex Iq, yung Vex Virtual World Programming. And the program na ginamit ni Vex Iq is graphical programming. Hindi mahirap mag-program kasi nandun na yung mga graphics. Kailangan mo nang i-drag and drop and change the values ng kanyang mga movement. And your question might be to me, dear student, is it important to learn robotics? So let me answer that question through this video.
COVID-19 is one of the biggest crises of our time. It has impacted every single one of us, shaken our social systems, and disrupted every sector of our economies. The automation of work, combined with a global recession, led workers to lose their jobs at an accelerated pace compared to previous years. And this trend is expected to continue. The ongoing shift in the division of labor between humans, machines, and algorithms might displace 85 million jobs worldwide in the next 5 years, while 97 million new roles, ones that are more adapted to this new task distribution, may emerge. By 2025, companies expect to displace roughly 6% of their total workforce. 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labor market. There is a way to collectively benefit from these challenging times. Decades of research have shown that the most valuable asset of any economy or company is its human capital. Around the globe, companies are already experiencing a shortage in relevant skills for future roles and are investing in reskilling and upskilling their workforce. By 2025, organizations say they will train over 70% of their employees to ensure they can smoothly transition into the jobs of tomorrow. These include DevOps engineers, artificial intelligence specialists, digital marketing managers, talent acquisition specialists, and customer success specialists. It will take on average between 2 weeks and 5 months for workers to pick up new skills, allowing them to move into these new roles. But data shows they won't need to have the perfect skill set to start transitioning. While 2/3 of employers expect to get a return on investment in employees' reskilling programs within just 1 year, governments will also need to step in to update and fund education and training systems and to ensure displaced workers have adequate safety nets. With purposeful leadership and collaboration, we can turn this global crisis into a unique opportunity to transition into a future of jobs that is inclusive, fair, and sustainable.
All right, thank you so much again for watching the video. So let's go back to the question. Is it important to learn robotics? So based on the video, all right, so let me just allow me to present to you again my presentation. Okay. So robotics prepares students for the competitive workforce of tomorrow. Robotics allow children to work on their life skills along with social skills. These skills help them to stand out of the crowd in front of their future employers. So our topic for today is robotics for 21st century learners. In robotics, these are the fundamental skills that we hone to our learners. First, creativity. Second is critical thinking. Third is collaboration. And lastly, communication. So with these skills, you are equipped in our global workforce. So according to the video that we watch, marami ng mga trabaho ang mawawala due to this pandemic and due to the technological innovation. But what is the most important resources? Human person. Ang kailangan lang natin is i-hone ng ating skills, upskilling, and it says there that if the company will train their workers, it takes 4 to 5 months. And you are lucky enough because you are in the Z generation. You are being trained by your teachers to be prepared in the future. Yung mga skills na kailangan niya sa future for you to land on a job is being honed to you through robotics. So si robotics is not merely of creating robots, be an inventor, be a programmer, but in robotics, your forces are being honed, or you are being prepared for the future. Okay? That is why robotics is for everyone. So if you are not a tech savvy, hindi ako magaling sa programming, hindi ko favorite subject ang science, regardless of that, it doesn't matter. What matters most is as you learn robotics, your skills was uplifted. Your skills are being honed. Okay, so be patient with learning in robotics. And let me share with you these quotes before I end. The first quote that I will share to you, if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. Ayan. So please do not, dear student, do not also compare the way that your teachers teach you right now. Sasabihin nyo siguro, yung mga anti-robotics student dyan, bakit may robotics pa? Gusto ko naman maging flight attendant paglaki ko. Bakit may robotics pa? Gusto ko naman maging businessman lang. Ayan. Bakit may robotics pa? Gusto ko naman maging artista in the future. Okay? Whatever job that you want to have in the future. But the way your teachers taught right now is the new ways to teach you, new pedagogical strategies because they prepare you for the future. So, hindi namin kayo masyadong tinuturuan doon sa mga traditional. Yes, traditional is still important. But for you to be prepared in the future, we teach you with technological innovation. Mapa-businessman ka man, kailangan ng critical thinking for you to run the business. You need communication. You need collaboration. And these skills are being honed through robotics education. Lastly, our future success is directly proportional to our ability to understand, adopt, and integrate new technology into our work. Not only in our work, but into our learning. So dear students, be open-minded during these pandemic times, during these trying times. Though it's pandemic, our learning should never stop. Actually, it prepares you. Yung virtual learning natin, yung being a self-paced learner in your modules. Yan, yung tinuturo ni teacher sa yung robotics, virtual programming. These are your adaptation for you to be prepared in the future. Okay? So I hope you learned from me. And once again, thank you so much for being your speaker for today. And I hope that those students who doesn't love robotics will love robotics right now for your future. So, robotics education for our 21st century learners. Thank you so much. This has been a fruitful presentation with you. And once again, this is Miss Russell Sagon. Thank you so much for being your speaker. God bless you and please take care, everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Rysel S. Sagun, for that very substantial discussion. Truly, our students learned a lot from your topic. Thus, we would like to award you the Certificate of Recognition. Let me read the text. Certificate of Recognition. This certificate is awarded to Rysel S. Sagun in grateful acknowledgement of her invaluable service as resource speaker during the symposium in celebration of the School-Based National Science Club Month held on September 21, 2021, given this 21st day of September 2021. Signed, Revelyn C. Camacho, PhD, Head Teacher 6, Science. Signed, Feby F. Kagawaan, Principal 4. Once again, a round of applause to Ma'am Rysel S. Sagun. Our speaker is a special science class graduate of Taguig National High School. She is also a BS Psychology graduate at St. Louis University, Baguio City, cum laude. She took up her Master of Arts in Education major in Guidance and Counseling at Pangasinan State University School of Advanced Studies. She took up her units in Doctor of Philosophy in Guidance and Counseling at Pangasinan State University School of Advanced Studies. She is currently taking up her Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology at Holy Angel University. She is a former guidance counselor at Pan Pacific University, North Philippines. She is a coordinator of LIS at PSU San Carlos Senior High School, a coordinator of admission guidance and testing at Pangasinan State University San Carlos campus. She is an instructor 1 of Pangasinan State University San Carlos campus and currently a guidance counselor and instructor 1 of Pangasinan State University Santa Maria campus. She is no other than our licensed psychometrician, Mrs. Jonna May Baliton Gavina. A round of applause, please.
Okay, so thank you so much for that. Hello to all our dear participants, grade 10 learners who are joining us via Zoom. Magandang umaga po or magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Masantos sa kabwasan at si Kenamin, naimbag nga aldaw, kada kayo amin. Good day to all of you. So I wanted first to express my deepest appreciation to our to your school, no, for inviting me here and for giving me this opportunity to be part of the celebration of the National Science Club Month. Of course, I would like to extend my deepest thanks to your very dynamic principal, Dr. Feby Kagawaan, and also to the head teacher of the science department, Dr. Revelyn C. Camacho, who is actually my former mentor, my class advisor in fourth year high school. Hello, ma'am. I hope you can still remember me. And also, I would also like to thank particularly the one who invited me to be one of the speakers in this webinar, Sir Angelbert Dulay, no, the advisor of Research Consortium. Actually, Sir Dulay is one of my classmates in high school and still right now, he is my friend. So thank you so much, Sir Dulay, for having me. Of course, the different advisors under Science Department, particularly Ma'am Mecca Patage, so the advisor of Robotics Club, and also Ma'am April Joyce Makasheb, the advisor of ESO, and Sir Nolly A. Esmenia, the advisor of SC. I hope I was able to pronounce it correctly, or ano na lang, PSYSC, para masigurado. So thank you so much po, Ma'am Sir, for having me. And of course, makakalimutan ko ba naman to all our grade 10 learners who are right here, joining us virtually. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here despite of holding this webinar holding this seminar or discussion online or virtually. In spite of um, holding this online, you are still here with us, joining us. So you are still here, you are very interested, in this topic. Okay, so the task of discussing with you the different careers and opportunities in science research is one of the um, most important and most essential topics that you should learn, and that should be discussed to you as a grade 10 learner. Okay, so 6 or 7 months from now, I understand, that you will be moving up to another level of your life, another journey of your education, being a senior high school student next year. So this topic, thus, or therefore, is one of the most important topics that you needed to have or you needed to learn, as part of your education as a grade 10 learner. Okay, so to start with, I wanted to first show you or tell you what are the different learning objectives, okay? Or what are the things that you are expected to have, okay, or expected to learn right after this discussion. So first, you are expected, of course, to identify the different opportunities in your intended career path, may it be in science or in different field. But of course, since we are celebrating the science or the National Science Club Month, we will be focusing particularly in the field of science research, hence the webinar title. All right, so the next one is at the end of this webinar, you are expected to understand how your own skills and interests match up to a chosen career path. Okay, so next is, okay, to demonstrate a clearer understanding of the career exploration process. And of course, to be enlightened on what to take right after graduation or right after grade 10. All right? So let's look into the different careers and opportunities in the field of science. Okay, but of course, let me ask you this question first, diba? Are you really interested or are you interested in pursuing a career in the sciences? Okay, so if yes, then let's get started. Okay, so let's begin this discussion by playing a simple game, which I wanted to call as eto, find the science practitioner. Okay, so I have here, okay, I have here 5 individuals. Now, here are some pictures of different individuals, successful individuals in their chosen field. So what I wanted you to do is to choose or to guess who among these individuals is a science practitioner. Sino sa kanila kaya yung scientist, for example, or a medical practitioner or science practitioner in general? Okay, so I'll be giving you 10 seconds to think and choose sino sa kanilang 5 ang science practitioner. So you may type in your answers in the comment section or chat box. So let's count. 10 seconds. Okay, so if you have your answers already, you may comment them or you may type them in the comment section or chat box. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So You have your answers already. So there. So let's reveal the science practitioner among these individuals is okay, number 3. So sino siya? He is Dr. Angel Alcala. So did you guess it right? Okay, so Dr. Alcala is a national scientist and he is known for his understanding on the contribution to the Philippine biological sciences. So his field work has added 50, imagine, new species of amphibians and reptiles, which gave international conservationist basis for establishing conservation programs in the Philippines or on Philippine vertebrate biodiversity. So nakikita nyo dyan, Dr. Alcala is known as the ASEAN Biodiversity Hero in the Philippines. So balik nga tayo doon. Maybe some of you, no, your answers is ayan, maybe some of your answers is number 2, maybe because of his features, ano, or it could be number 5, mukha siyang medical doctor, number 1, ayan. Okay, so, ayan. Did you guess it right? Okay, so, okay, science, research. Okay, so when we talk about science or research, this might be the image of a scientist or a science practitioner you have in your mind right now. Tama ba? Ayan, yung mga nakikita nyo sa screen ngayon. I'm sure you know these people very well. Okay, so lalo na yung mga fond ng K-pop. I know you know them very well. So all practitioners wear white coats. Ano po? They stare into the microscope all day. Diba? Mixing up crazy concoctions inside a laboratory, right? Okay. So if this is your thinking of a science practitioner, no, I can tell you, you are wrong. Okay. So actually, this is a common misconception. No, maybe some of you are wondering also, what about those students who wanted to pursue careers in science, but they are not interested, no, in working in a hospital, or maybe they are not interested in working in a laboratory, or they are not interested in doing research, no? But they have this passion, or they have the skill, the ability needed to be a science practitioner. So ano yung mangyayari sa kanila? Hindi ba sila considered, or hindi ba sila pwedeng maging science practitioner? Okay. So my answer to that is, okay, let's have a round 2 of our game. So you know already the guidelines in the game, no? Again, you have to find a science practitioner. Okay, so here are another pictures of successful individuals in the field. So once again, okay, I wanted you to guess who the science practitioner is among these 5 individuals. So are you ready? Okay, so once again, I'll be giving you 10 seconds to think and choose. And then if you already have your answers, you may type them on the comment section or chat box. Okay, pag may sagot na po kayo, pakilagay lang po or pakicomment lang po dun sa chat box natin. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, meron ba sa kanila ang science practitioner? So the science practitioner is, ayan, actually all of them. So we have here the one on your right, or left pala kasi you are facing the screen right now. Dr. Rojo, or Dr. Josephine Rojo, is a nutritionist, a dietitian, okay, a science practitioner, the creator of Facebook group Now you could search this one in your Facebook, no? Life without rice. Pwede niyo yung i-search ngayon. You could see there, the creator of that group is Dr. Rojo. Okay? She is also an author, a writer of the child and adult wellness. And aside from being an author and nutritionist, she is also an ENT surgeon. Okay, so another in the upper corner of Dr. Rojo is, you could see Dr. Winston Tiwaken, okay, or he is also known as Dr. Kilimang Guru to his followers. Okay, if you are a follower, so kilala mo na siya, no? He is actually a licensed medical doctor and public health education advocate. He is producing social media contents on Facebook regarding physicians, no? Life of physicians, ayan. And also, he is producing social media contents in YouTube channels and Instagram rather. Wala pala yata siyang YouTube channel, but on Instagram and TikTok. Ayan, he is very famous in TikTok. So another is in the upper right corner, you could see there Dr. Rian Portuguez. Okay. She is popularly known in social media as your millennial psychologist. So pwede nyo i-search doon sa Facebook, sa social media ninyo, pwedeng Facebook, pwede ring Instagram, your millennial psychologist. So lalabas doon si Dr. Portuguez. So she is actually a clinical psychologist and just like me, a registered psychometrician, also a lecturer, mostly on the topics on mental health, depression, different psychological problems, okay, and diseases. Ayan. A psychology vlogger. Okay, vlogger din siya. I'm actually one of her avid subscriber in YouTube and a follower in her Facebook page. Ayan. So, next is Dr. Joseph Nang, a statistician, data miner, and also a nurse, a science practitioner. Okay, so Dr. Nang is, aside from being a nurse and statistician, he is also a professor and a doctor of education in Dalasal, Lipa, with several research publications. So, ayan, napakagaling na doktor. Okay, so next is, ayan, siguro you already know this one. He is very popular also in social media. Okay, he is popularly known as Nurse Even in Instagram. Ano po? So, ang buong pangalan niya is John Steven Soriano. A 27 years old YouTuber, vlogger, TikToker, no? And his TikTok videos will make you appreciate health workers even more. So, hindi lang bilang isang nurse, no? Bilang isang influencer din. Okay. Which who definitely inspire a lot of people because of his contents. Okay? So what's the lesson or what might be the lesson in this activity? Bakit ko to binigay or pinagawa or pinalaro sa inyo? Okay? So yes, while some science practitioners do indeed use microscopes and can be found in laboratories, other science practitioners are outside then. Okay, they are outside exploring, conducting researches without microscopes, without chemicals, kahit wala sila sa laboratory. Science today looks different from then. So there are actually over 100 different kinds of scientists in this world. But, students, no matter what topic, okay, or what field they study, they all have one thing in common. Ano kaya yun? All of the science practitioners, correct me if I'm wrong, yung mga advisors natin dito under science department, di ba? All of you are very curious people. No po? Tama ba? Okay, all of the science practitioners are very curious. They are always asking questions and they are always trying to solve problems because they believe that there are so many questions in this world to be answered. Okay? So, kung ikaw yung taong ganun din, no? Palagi kang curious, palagi kang maraming tanong, okay, probably this one is a very rewarding career for you. Right? So, just like what I have mentioned, there are actually over 100 different kinds of scientists, but all of them fall into these 8 main groups of science. Okay, so let's take a look at them one by one. Okay. So the first one is, okay, biology. What is biology? Biology is the study of living organisms. Okay, so the careers under this field understand, okay, they understand what constitutes life. Okay, mostly their work is laboratory works, pero hindi ko sinasabing lahat, but mostly, okay, done under a laboratory. Okay, they directly engage in research combined with practical field experience. So what are the possible careers or opportunities under this field? So you could be a biologist, you could also be a conservationist, of course, a medical doctor, a dentist, an electron microscope specialist, okay? You could be a health consultant, a laboratory technician, no, marine fisheries biologist. Of course, you could also be a nurse, an oceanographer, optometrist, pharmaceutical research, no, pharmacologist, okay? Ayan, yung nakikita ninyo sa screen ninyo, a veterinarian, water quality inspector, and of course, an educator. Okay, so another is chemistry. Okay, so for chemistry, right, so this is the study of matter. Okay, so they engage usually in chemical research or experiments, mostly. Hindi lahat, but mostly. Okay, careers under this field has close integration of research and laboratory. Kaya nga, si chemistry is the most popular complement, no, of biology. Bakit? Because just like biology, they focus on research and laboratory works. Okay, so what are the careers or the possible career opportunities under this field? You could be an agricultural chemist, no, or an analytical chemist, biochemist, biotechnologist, chemical engineer, ayan, cosmetic chemist. If you are very interested, no, in makeups, you could be a cosmetic chemist or food chemist, forensic scientist, mga ganyan, laboratory manager or technician, medical doctor, molecular biologist, pharmacist, toxicologist, or of course an educator, just like your advisors are. No, you could be a science or chemistry teacher in high school or in a university. All right, so let's proceed to the next one. We have computer science. So what do we have in computer science? All right, so computer science is the study of computers, of course, and computational systems. So they develop systems for many fields using innovation and creativity. So their skills are relevant, no, current, and in demand. Okay, so why do we say that it is in demand? No? As you know, we are now on a digital age. No po? So because we are now on a digital age, no, it means that computers, Wi-Fi, internet are a part of every aspects of our lives or every aspects of modern life. Okay, so also, according to relevant researches, job satisfaction in the field of computer science or IT is very high, no? As well as the starting salaries. So if you like solving problems, no, and having a talent for mathematics and logical thinking, no, computer science could be a rewarding career for you. So what are the career opportunities under this field? No, you could be a database administrator rather. You could also be a data analyst or a data miner, right? Data recovery manager. Okay. Software and hardware engineer or designer, IT consultant, ayan mga yan, network administrators, no? System analyst, telecommunications analyst, no? Webmaster, ano ba, yung mga tagagawa ng website, right? Computer scientist, hardware engineers, no? Website, ayun, yung sabi ko kanina, webmaster, website developer, designers, ayan mga yan. And of course, an educator. You could be a computer science teacher in high school or an IT teacher in a university. So, pwede naman yan. Okay, so another, okay, we now go to the next, which is environmental science. So dito naman, what can we do with environmental science degree? So jobs related in this degree will include horticulturist, no, agriculturist, no po, environmental advocate, okay, or environmental consultant, okay, environmental engineer, manager, or a nature conservation officer. Because we are in here, we are focusing on the relationships and interactions among organisms. So their environment, okay, interaction of the environment and human activity. Okay, so generally in this career, no, they have the knowledge of the natural sciences, okay, which they use to protect the environment and human health. So, if you could remember, no, naalala ko lang with this field, no, if you could still remember Ma'am Gina Lopez, I don't know if you still know her in your generation, but in my generation, she is very popular because she is a nature lover, no? She is an environmental activist, very famous in the field of environmental science, no? Ma'am Gina Lopez is, I don't know if I am right, no? She was the managing director of ABS-CBN back then, no? Not now, but of course, nung time niya. She pioneered important projects in the Philippines, no? Just like the Bantay Bata 163, no? Siya yung nag-spearhead po niyan, no? The reforestation of the La Mesa watershed, no? Which is until now very controversial, no? And the cleanup of the Pasig River as well, no? Siya po yung nag-spearhead ng mga activities ng ganyan. So, but sadly, at the age of, I think in his late in her late 60s, she was diagnosed with brain cancer. So yun yung kinamatay niya last 2018 ata yun, or 2019. She died of a multiple organ failure. So ayun, naalala ko lang bigla because of this topic. So next, we have, ayan, physics. So what about in physics? Okay, so this is the study of interactions, balik tayo dun, or interrelationships, fundamental to understanding of how the world in general works. Okay, so physics lies on the root of many inventions, so that have had an enormous impact on our everyday life. So there are a lot of objects, no? There are numerous ordinary things around us which we regularly use, which rely on the science of physics. In order for those objects to function, no, they rely on the science of physics. So what are the examples of these objects? Ito yung mga nakikita nyo dyan sa screen nyo right now. We have automobiles, ayan, X-ray, of course, incandescent lamps, yun, mga ilaw natin, semiconductors, lasers, yan, yung mga GPS ninyo, GPS devices, radio transmitters, barcode scanners, no? Military weapons even, no? And ayan, bombs. Okay, so those are some of the examples, no? And what are the career opportunities in this field? So right after graduation, no, if you pass the licensure examination, you could be a physicist, no? You could also be an astronomer, an geologist, biophysicist, of course, a medical doctor, a financial analyst, geophysics, researcher, meteorology pala, and even radiologist. Okay, so under physics pa rin po yan. And of course, an educator. So someday, or right after graduation, you could be a science teacher, a physics teacher in particular. Okay, and also a teacher or an educator in a university. Right, so next is we have there mathematics and statistics. Okay, so for this field, okay, so for this field, we focus, or the careers in this field apply mathematical principles to the collection, interpretation, and presentation of data. So if you are very interested, no, in the pictures that you could see there on your screen, it shows mathematical data, okay, statistics, no, mostly. This one is necessary in understanding and creating applications to everyday issues. So these people, no, enjoy intellectual challenge. Okay, so what are the careers under this field? You could be a business intelligence or BI analyst, data analyst, no, data miner, just like Dr. Nang, Joseph Nang, a while ago, no, yung pinakita ko kanina. You could be a bank manager, an accountant, no, a compensation research analyst, no, loan officer, financial auditor, pension specialist, rate analyst, yan, software designer or developer, statistician, and of course, an educator. Statistics teacher, mathematics teacher in high school or in a university. So, ayan. Next is nutrition and dietetics. This one is very interesting, no? All right, so the next one is nutrition and dietetics. Okay, so for this one, we focus on the study of food intake and human physiology. So basically, the job or their job focuses on nutrition, food safety, consumption, and they are the one who make policies to improve the quality of life of clients and the community in general by motivating their clientele and communicating the science behind food consumption. So what will be the possible opportunities or careers under this field? You could be a clinical dietitian, community nutritionist, a health consultant, food service managers, nutrition counselor, ayan, meron din ganon, nutrition information specialist, food industry researcher, and of course, an educator. So if you are like, and also if you are like, you remember Dr. Josephine Grace Rojo, no, yung kanina na pinakita ko po sa inyo. If you don't want not to work closely with laboratories, you don't want to work in a hospital, no po. So, like her, just like Dr. Rojo, you may use other platforms to promote your advocacy. You may, you could also use Facebook, ayan, to promote your advocacy in health and wellness. So, like Dr. Rojo, she was able to launch, no, her own YouTube channel and published several books and ebooks, okay, with the content on health and wellness pa rin. So, ayan. Next is that, actually the last one, no, psychology, which is the career I chose, no. So, psychology is still under science research, no. This is the study of human behavior and mental processes, so which includes Okay, laboratory-based and community-based research. So hindi lang din sila nasa loob ng laboratory, they are also working hand in hand with the community. Okay, so practitioners in this field apply knowledge to individual and societal problems, especially on mental health. Right? So what could be the possible careers? So gaya ni Ma'am Donna, you could be a registered psychometrician, a guidance counselor, no, a psychologist. You could also be a medical doctor, a psychiatrist, particularly, no, a neuroscientist, behavior analyst, ano pa ba, caseworker or child protection worker, corrections officer, no, forensic physician, forensic psychologist rather, human resource specialist, yung mga nasa companies, no, yung mga HR officers, mga psychology majors din yung mga yan. Labor relations, management consultant, no, mental health advocate. Okay? So, social service worker. And of course, hindi mawawala, pwede ka rin maging educator. No? So, you could also teach social sciences and specifically psychology in the universities. Right? So, there you go. Those are the different fields under science research. So let me ask you once again, are you now interested in taking a career in the sciences, in research? No? Then, okay, this one, STEM strand might be as a senior high school strand suited for you. Okay, so again, I do not want to discriminate other strands, but because our topic or our program now is or we are celebrating Science Month, so we will be focusing on STEM. Okay, so STEM strand, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, is a curriculum that falls not only under these 4 disciplines. So hindi lang sa STEM, but a far wider range of academic disciplines. So hindi lang science, hindi lang engineering, mathematics. So these strands provide preparation for students in using these 4 disciplines to solve real-life problems and advance national development. So yes, STEM is really a hard strand not to take, but I could tell you this is a very fulfilling and definitely worth tears, no, and worth the sacrifices. You may ask your advisors for that also, no. Very fulfilling din talaga ang careers under science field. But still, if you are not sure of the strand you wanted to pursue later on, no, I intentionally wanted to add, no, and to share additional topic. So this one is actually not a part of the topic given to me, but you know, I believe, no, as a guidance counselor, as an educator, no, in my profession, I always wanted to make life easier for my counselees, for my clientels. So if you're still on a crossroad, no, ayan, so nakikita niyo dyan sa illustration, kung ikaw ay parang parang dito sa lalaking nasa illustration, no, if you are still on a crossroad right now, you are confused, you are in doubt, this can be very helpful to you. I will make this very short. No, don't you worry. So this is just an additional. Let's consider this as a bonus in this webinar. So again, this is not part of my topic, but I just wanted to help you with this. No, I'm sorry for the dog. No, this is the disadvantage of the online platforms. No, we could not. We could not control the different distractions. No, so there. So let's talk about, mamaya tayo dun, no? Let's talk about how to choose the perfect senior high school strand for me. Now, what is the perfect career for me? So focus na lang tayo sa career, no? So it is typical for you to experience confusions, no, dilemma, no, on what course to or strand to take after grade 10. No, I understand that. Now listen to this. That's completely fine. Okay? Your feelings are valid. We are human beings, no? We are entitled to the experience, or we are entitled to experience those emotions of um, doubt, confusions, and I could say it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. No? I have been there, not just like you. I'm also confused. No? 10 years ago, no? I'm afraid. I'm in doubt, okay, of my capabilities. Okay. And it's perfectly normal to be confused. No? You know, students, being confused is actually a good sign. It's a sign that you are thinking about it. You are actually carefully mapping out your decisions, the decisions that you are going to take later on. If you are having that negative feeling, ibig sabihin, maganda yon kasi you are really thinking about it. You are taking time to decide. All right? But then again, however, you don't have to be in that position of being confused, or planning for your career the rest of your life, down to that very last detail, Hindi ka dapat tumambay doon because you can start, take some general steps, towards your future. When we were little, we are often asked, palagi tayong tinatanong, what do you want to be when you grow older? Anong gusto mong maging paglaki mo? 'Di ba? As a child, your answer is usually something like, I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be a policeman. 'Di ba? Ganun yung mga sagot natin nung bata tayo. Okay, so naipakita ko na siya kanina. So when you're going to ask my child, kapag tinanong mo siya, what do you want to be when you grow up? When people ask my son that question, he would say he wanted to be a firefighter. Perhaps because that's what he usually hears and hears in his lolo. My dad is actually a retired firefighter. So for children like them, like my son, it's very easy for them to answer. As we know, children are by nature ignorant, diba? They are very ignorant of the complexities of the universe, complexities of the world. They are very ignorant of the problems that we are encountering as an adult, diba? But then again, when it's time to make that decision in your teens, even in adult years, kahit ngayon, it can be extremely hard to find the answer. So a few months from now, sabi ko nga kanina, you great and learners will be moving up. Excited na ba kayo? You have to be excited. Because to be excited is to be ready. Okay? So, yes, there. Choosing a course is a process and not a single decision. Sabi ko dyan, a successful career doesn't happen by chance. It takes careful planning, a roadmap to your future. I know you are very familiar, with the Korean actor there, I'm not sure of his name, but I know he is a very famous Korean actor, a BTS, sa BTS. So, ayan. Kaya siya yung nilagay ko dyan, para medyo ma-inspire naman tayo to have a roadmap on your career. Sabi ni Jungkook, if I'm correct, correct me if I'm wrong, dun sa comment section, paki-correct ako kung mali ako. Sabi ni Jungkook, think of it as a journey. You think of it as a journey in which you're going to face different factors, that may influence your journey. That's why you could see their different P's, those will be the factors that will influence your decision making, career decision making. So to help you, here's a roadmap. which shows you the 7 P's. Okay, all these 7 P's are the steps, no, that you may consider when you are trying to find or to choose an ideal career path. Okay, so by Jungkook. Okay, so let's look at it one by one. Okay, the first one is point. So what is point? Okay, ano yung tinutukoy natin dito? So first things foremost, no, you have to identify your goals. No, what is the point of everything that you are doing? Okay, so define what you want out of a career. Okay, so it is very necessary to identify, no, ano ba yung gusto mo, ano ba yung goal mo. Okay, so to do that, you have to make a list of everything that you want to achieve in a job. Okay, it's better if you define it using adjectives. So yung mga nakikita nyo dyan sa screen nyo right now, this could be your possible goals, no, you wanted to have. Do you want to have a high salary? Do you want to have a respectable title? Do you want to be a boss or a leader, a good leader, or simply an employee who works for somebody? No? By answering these questions, you can narrow down the types of roles you want to be or you are interested in. So the next thing you should do, ano yung next na gagawin natin? Okay, next P is the passion, your passion. So make a list of your hobbies or your hobbies, what you love or enjoy doing. So determine what you love or enjoy doing. Because in order for you to enjoy what you do for the majority of the day, kapag nagkatrabaho na kayo, it's very essential to find a career that you really love. Okay, so the best place to start is you have to ask yourself, what are you passionate about? No? How do I discover my passion? No? So ganito, isipin mo na lang, no? What would make you get out of bed on a cold September morning? Okay? So, ano ba yung nanggigising sa'yo or pwedeng manggising sa'yo sa isang napakasarap na tulog, sa isang napakalamig na umaga? Ano? Ma'am, you could say, Ma'am, yung amoy ng luto ng nanay ko. Pwede rin, di ba? Or you could also find out what you spend hours reading about or watching, no? Ano ba yung umuubos ng oras mo? You may check your YouTube, no? Usually, kanino ka ba nakasubscribe? Right? Ma'am, kay Panlasang Pinoy, no? Kay, sino ba to? Chef RB Manabat. Or, yung asawa ni Ann Curtis, sino ba yan? Erwan Yusuf po. Sila po yung mga sinusubscribe ko. Okay? So probably from that, no, your passion is cooking. No? So if you want to turn your passion for cooking, no, into a career or into a profession, you may end up running your own restaurant. Tama? So the bottom line here is that passion is an important factor to consider when you are choosing a job. But again, it's not the only factor. Okay? So the third one could be the potential or your performance. So in here, we are talking about your skills. So you have to discover what you're good at. No, you have to consider, no? Again, you create list, no? Make a list of your skills, no? The skills that you possess, and you consider the strengths, weaknesses. Okay, so hindi lang strength, hindi lang talent and skills, oh, pati i-consider mo rin pati yung weaknesses mo. Okay, para from that, pwede mo ma-identify yung opposite, which is your strength. Alright, so remember that what you enjoy doing and what you're good at can be two different things. Magkaiba po yan. Okay, your passion and your skills, okay, or your talent, okay, your potential is different. Right? So, example, let's say you might enjoy web or internet surfing. Okay, yun yung hobby mo, for example. You love internet surfing, but actually you're really good at public speaking. So, the job or a job that is a job as a sales manager, for example, or an advertising manager, for example, or ano na lang, educator, okay, for example, maybe a sensible choice for a career. So again, looking back or look back at your goals. Sabi ko dyan, what skills and knowledge are needed to achieve them? Okay, for you, it can also, this one can help you in this step. You have to look back on your goals. Okay, for example, your goal is to become a boss or to become a good leader. Yung kanina example natin, no? What are the skills and knowledge needed to achieve that goal? No? For you to become a good leader, ano ba? You have to become, sige nga, what are the skills needed to be a good leader? Okay, you may type them down on a chat box. Okay? Di ba? To be a good leader, you have to be a critical or innovative thinker. Tama? Okay, you should be a good listener. Okay, so you ask yourself, do you have these skills? Okay, if not, if wala ka nito, okay, balik ka dun sa goal mo. Okay, hindi pwede or hindi possible na maging leader ka. Okay, kasi wala ka nga ng mga skills na to. Okay, so which areas from your current skill set needs improvement? You have to be realistic of your goals. Okay, so now, maybe some of you are asking, Ma'am, paano po yun? Hindi ako sure kung saan po talaga ako magaling. Okay, so you may use performance appraisals as your reference. Okay, so ano po yung mga performance appraisals na tinutukoy natin? Sorry. Okay, so these are your grades. Okay, ito yung mga performance nga ninyo, class performance. Your grades, okay, well, it's true, okay, that grades are just numbers, sometimes letters. In other schools, grades are defined through letters, diba? So, well, it's true, no, na they are just numbers. They can't define you as a person. They can't define your personality, but having a good academic standing will give you several advantages. Okay? Better grades allow you to have a higher chance, higher chances of getting scholarships. For example, no? Better grades or good grades open doors to future opportunities, no? 'Di ba? Kapag nakita ng company na pinapasukan mo, ay academically performing itong batang 'to. Okay, or magaling tong aplikante na 'to, matataas ang grades niya. Probably he can do good in our company too. Tama? After all, these students did well in high school or in college. Okay? This student or this applicant did well or performed well in his school. Probably, he can do good in our company too. Okay, so ayan. Or ano ba pa bang ibang advantage? Simply, good grades can boost your confidence. Okay, so grades are very important factor in identifying your career path. So let's say, according to your report card, okay, you excel in mathematics. Tama? You may want to consider, so dahil mataas yung grades mo sa mathematics, you may want to consider STEM. Tama? Which STEM will prepare you to careers related to engineering, statistics, mathematics, yung mga binanggit natin kanina. So you have to look at your potential and your performance. You may want to be an engineer, for example, but in reality, your mathematical skills won't cooperate. Okay, di ba? Or you may want to be a nurse someday. Gusto mo maging nurse, but the signs of blood makes you dizzy. Hilo ka pag nakakita ka ng dugo. So, hindi siya pwede. Alright, so next. What else? Okay, there. One of the most important factors is your personality. Because personality Now, as we know, it affects all aspects of your performance. Okay, even how you react, no, to situations on your job, for example, no, makikita mo dun eh. Sa different situations na kakaharapin mo, makikita mo yung personality ng isang tao. Remember, not all or not every personality is suited for every job position. Tama? Let's say, mainitin ang ulo mo. Huwag ka mag-teacher. Tama ba, mga kapwa teachers natin, advisors? Diba? If you can handle stress well, no, huwag kang mag-teacher. Because you know, in the academe, all kinds of people with different personas are there. All kinds of stressors are there. As a teacher, having that effective personality is very important. Wag na tayong lumayo. Looking at the example in the screen, no, that guy might be a gifted singer or ano siguro, a gifted writer or a researcher, no? But actually, no, he is an introvert. Okay? Now, his introverted personality, yung personality niyang shy or mahiyain, might not let him succeed in this field of research. Because, as we know, no, in order for us to be a successful researcher, you must also have the heart, okay, and the ability of, okay, or the personality, no, of presenting. But this person, no, the skill of presenting. But this person, as our example, na nakikita nyo naman dyan, cannot because he is very anxious. Kasi nga, introvert eh. No? He is anxious to stand on a stage or in front of people. So wala sa personality niya yon. Okay? So therefore, it's equally important to identify and take into consideration your personality traits. So when it comes to choosing your career path, okay, so ayan. Several studies have shown that people who hold jobs with tasks related to their personality are more productive, happier, and make more money. Okay, so the 1 million question now is, how can I figure out my personality traits? Paano naman po ako? Hindi ako sure kasi ma'am sa personality traits na meron ako. So what can I do? You may ask for inputs. No? You may ask your trusted support system. Now, if you're not sure what your traits are, you may ask your family members, you may ask your friends, no? You may ask your teachers, even your mentors, no? What would your friends say about you? What pwede mong tanungin sa kanila, how would you describe me in 3 words? Mga ganyan. So, paano naman kung iba-iba sila ng sinasabi? Ano? Paano naman kung hindi sila pare-pareho ng sinabi tungkol sa akin? Okay? So yes, that can be possible, ano? It can often be confusing to figure out, no? So a psychological test, no? Okay, because can also be an option. Because again, psychological test measures an individual's different abilities, even traits, aptitude tests, skill tests, and personality tests are examples. So, what would be or what would a personality says about you or about your personality? All right. So there. Okay, next, malapit na po tayo. Okay, possibility. Okay, so ito naman, one of the most important also. Once you've narrowed down a handful of careers, meron ka ng listahan ng careers na gusto mo, na yung passion mo, kung saan ka magaling. Okay, you may also consider the possibility. No? Ano yung tinutukoy natin dito? You talk to professionals or experts in the field. Okay, so you may ask your teachers. Okay, if you're interested in science field, you may ask Sir Angel Bert. Okay, you may, if you are interested in chemistry, you may ask them, diba? Because okay, they will offer insight, no, into the day-to-day task, no, or about the career as a whole. Okay, they may give you the job description, no, the working hours, paano ba yung working hours ng isang chemist or instructor. Okay, even the salary, you could ask them also if you're interested to know the salary, no. They will help you get a clearer understanding of the career. So besides talking to career experts, no, you could also research the job market. Okay, in the job market, you could see whether there will be great opportunities, no, or if this job is in demand, no. Yan, makikita mo sa job market if you are going to research a job market. So you also need to determine whether the role you're interested in has the possibility for career progression. 10 years from now, in demand pa rin ba tong field na to? Meron bang progression sa career na to? Otherwise, no, pag wala, you get bored, no, working in the same position for years on end. Let's say, for example, no, or let's say you wanted to become a marine biologist. This is just an example, ha. Hindi naman ako nagdi-discriminate ng marine biologist. So, or chemist na lang, sige. You wanted to become a chemist, for example, but the local demand in the Philippines might be low. So, hindi siya in demand sa Philippines. So, maybe that career requires, or naman, maybe that career will require you a lot of trainings or certifications or qualifications and eligibilities. So, you have to know also, you have to research. You know, it often happens, no, that many students or many people who desire to choose careers like photography, for example, a painting, yung mga yan, writing, composers, yan, they might be unable to follow their dreams because they know that such careers do not always pay well. Diba? Rather, no, rather than choosing those careers, they will choose a field which will enable them to provide for their family. Yung medyo mas in demand, medyo mas mataas yung salary. Okay, that is reality, no? So, okay, also one of the realities here is, okay, one of the major influencers, no, is your parent, or are your parents and friends. Peer pressure, parental pressure. No? Why do you think parents do this? Bakit ba nila kayo dinidiktahan, tinuturuan? Bakit ba silang nagsasabi kung ano yung gusto nyong career? Okay? You know, there are some parents, they have failed their past career goals, no? Hindi nila narating yung gusto nilang, or yung goal talaga nila sa trabaho, or yung talagang pangarap nila. And then, because of that, they will set the same dream, the same goal on their children. That's reality, no? What else? Other parents think, no, it is still their responsibility, no, since they enrolled you to a school, pinag-aral ka nila, no, sa palagay nila, or sa kanilang palagay, no, it is still their responsibility, ano po, to choose, no, or to decide kung ano yung career na dapat mong i-take, no? Or there are also possibilities na there are parents na just like as we are, no, our parents are also very stressed and confused, no? They are also, kumbaga, they wanted to choose the best for you, no? So this makes them very stressed because they wanted to ensure that you'll have a great quality of life in the future. While it's true that parents only wants the best for us, sabi ko nga dyan, but remember, yes, they might have a major key role to play, no, in the decision-making process, pero dapat hanggang doon na lang yon, no, hanggang doon sila. Influencer sila eh. So they might influence your decision, but Okay? The one who will dictate your future is still you. All right? We also need to open up to them on the career we wanted and weigh the choices. So this is an important decision that impacts your entire future. Okay, just as you are, your parents, remember, are very stressed too. So intindihin din natin sila, no? Even friends, no? Most often than not, you share the same interests, 'di ba? Tama? Kaya nga kayo naging friends ng mga kaibigan mo. Dahil pareho kayong mahilig sa, for example, chismis. Tama? So, thus you have the same choices when it comes to your career. Probably, dahil nga mahilig kayo sa chismis, no? Your best career choice is to become part of the media, no? Not all naman, no, the media, not all naman na nasa media ay ganon. Pero this is just a joke, no? I don't intend to discriminate them or to offend people from the media. Yun lang kasi yung biglang pumasok sa isip ko na example. So, ayan, friends often share interest and character, hence career choices. So, and the last one, the most important one for me, no, personally, I feel that, okay, your pocket is very important too. I feel that money, no, plays the dominant role in career choice. So as you know, financial problems, no, can affect all aspects of our life. 'Di ba? Alam yan ng mga advisors natin, ng mga mentors natin kasi nasa adult life na sila. So naiintindihan na nila ito. Probably sa part ninyo as grade 10, no, hindi pa gaano, pero on the part of your teachers, no, mas matanda na sila or mas experienced na sila with these problems, no? Tama ba, ma'am, sir? 'Di ba? Money can affect aspects of our life, you know, even our relationships, no, from our family matters to our relationship matters to our leisure activities, no, and so as to our career. So with cost in mind, many students end up choosing a more affordable and practical degree as opposed to what they really want to pursue. Okay. So what are the courses that are kind of expensive? Okay. Medical courses, for example, diba? It's true. However, you know, learners, if there are means, okay, you grab the opportunity. Ano ba yung means na sinasabi ko? Okay, you ask yourself first, are you dependent to your parents, no, to sustain your education, or are you independent? Okay, you know, in our university, or in the university where I graduated in college, no, there are medical students there who are working students as well. They don't pay their tuition fees, no, they work at the library, they work aside from working in the library, they work in the laboratories, no, as assistants, no, they work as clerks in different offices, no, working students sila. So hindi sila nagbabayad ng tuition fee. Kung nagbabayad man sila, lesser tuition fees or merong percentage lang. Okay? Or you may also want to apply for scholarships. No, there are a lot of scholarship grants offered by different politicians, no, organizations, and the like. So, ayan. So pocket is also an influencer or can influence your decision making. Pocket refers to the resources that you have, no, the affordability. Okay. Kaya mo ba, afford mo ba yung course na gusto mo? Okay, so I think that is the last. No, so there you go. Those are the 7 P's for career planning. So again, before we end, syempre kailangan laging may output, no? Now I wanted you to go back to our question earlier. Let me ask you once more. What is the perfect career for you? Or what is the perfect career for me? So I wanted you to list down, no? Sabi ko nga kailangan natin ng output. So I wanted you to list down your top 3 career choices. You could also comment them down on the comment box. So, why only 3 choices, ma'am? No, daming tumatakbo sa isip ko. You know, the longer list you have, the more difficult to choose. So, you have to choose top 3 career choices. So, I have here, I think, an example. So, yung sa inyo, pwede nyong ilagay sa comment box. So, I have here an example. Okay, so you have to list down, ayan, just like this. This is my personal top 3 career choices when I was in high school. No, so you have to list down also, no, your own. Okay, then given these factors, you try to map them up. Okay, using the 5 P's. You try to assess them using the 7 P's, rather 5 P's, sabi ko. 7 P's na pinag-usapan natin kanina. Ano ba yung mga yun? Ayan, potential, okay, point, ayan, yung mga yun. You try to map them up. So, do you have what it is? Pag, for example, sa P1, potential, for example, do you have what it is to become a medical doctor, for example? No? How is your grades in science? No? Kung okay yung grades mo sa science, check mo yan. Ibig sabihin, meron kang skills, no, bilang isang medical doctor. Okay, psychologist as well. I think the same. Dapat magaling ka sa science, magaling ka sa mathematics also kasi may statistics din ang psychology. Okay, so you check it kapag meron. So what else? For example, parental influence. Okay, gusto ba ng parents mo? Okay, if no, leave it blank. Parang yan. Okay, gusto ba ng parents mo maging photographer ka? If yes, you check it. Okay, pocket. Okay, can you afford going to a medical school? Okay, dahil gusto ko medical doctor, no, can I afford? Parang maling example ko dyan. Pero actually, before, we cannot afford kasi to, my parents can't afford me to send me in medical school or in med school. So, ayan, dun ako nagpunta or nag-enroll sa psychologist. So, ayan, check mo lang. Okay, so, there. And then, so on and so forth. Okay, or, pwede naman, you could also use numbers. You could also rank them. Okay, so pwede rin ganyan. And then, you total it. Kung alin yung pinaka mas mababang total, ibig sabihin, yun yung top choice mo. Right? So, yung kanina, kung alin yung pinakamaraming check, yun yung top choice mo. Okay? Kung dito naman, kapag nirank mo siya, kung ilan yung pinaka maliit na total or lowest total, okay, that is probably the best career choice for you. Okay, naintindihan? Okay, so you make your own also. You may share your answers on the chat box in the comment section. I would appreciate it if I could see your answers there. So, simple lang naman yung activity na to. So, it is for you naman. So, yan. So, there. So, again, of course, I wanted to end my topic, no, with a simple takeaway. Okay, I don't know if you have noticed the illustration I have shown, no, in the very first slide earlier, no, where the title of our topic was mentioned. Maybe I could just show it. Ayan pala, naka-show na siya ulit. So here you could see, no, somebody who is picking up a tennis ball inside a basket full of tennis balls. Maybe some of you are wondering also, why did I use this illustration? No? Bakit nga ginamit yung illustration na to without explaining or without using it in the next slides or discussions? Hindi naman ginamit. Okay? That's because I intentionally want to explain it after or together with the takeaways of this discussion. So again, I wanted to end my topic, no, with a simple takeaway that, you know, choosing a career, no, is like choosing a tennis ball inside a basket full of balls, no? With, of course, with the same features, pare-pareho siya, di ba? Because, for me, no, careers are all the same. You know, pare-pareho lang yan. But in order for you to successfully win a tennis match, okay, or to win a tennis game, everything lies, no, in your hands as a player. Okay, it's all about the strategy you have. It's all about your strength. Tama? On how you are going to hit the ball with your tennis racket. It's all up to you. No? Just like with choosing a career path, your success and happiness lie in you. As you can see, it's not difficult to find a career when you have a good way of identifying your interest and strengths. Gawin mo lang yung pinagawa natin kanina. Okay? So, there, thank you so much. Tayug National High School. Thank you so much, grade 10 learners. Once again, I'm very happy not to be here, to be part of this celebration. Again, if you are looking for more advices when it comes to your career path, if you have questions or you wanted a clarification, please feel free to contact me in this or please feel free to connect with me through email or through these phone numbers. Okay, I already gave you there my email address, psusmguidance@gmail.com. I could accommodate you there. Or you could also call or connect with me with the PSU hotline numbers. Hawak ko rin naman po yan. So, ayan na po. But please, because my work in PSU is 8 to 5 p.m., I could accommodate maybe outsiders 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. po. Don't worry, this is for free. No, for our learners, this is for free. Wala pong professional fee dito. So once again, thank you so much, Tayug National High School. Thank you so much, advisors under Science Department. I hope to see you again soon, and I hope you learned a lot from this webinar. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Jana May Baliton Gavina, for that very substantial discussion. Truly, our students learned a lot from your topic. Thus, we would like to award you the Certificate of Recognition. Let me read the text. Certificate of Recognition. This certificate is awarded to Jana May Baliton Gavina in grateful acknowledgement of her invaluable service as resource speaker during the symposium in celebration of the school-based National Science Club Month held on September 21, 2021, given this 21st day of September 2021. Signed, Revelyn C. Camacho, PhD, Head Teacher 6, Science. Signed, Feby F. Kagawaan, Principal 4. Once again, a round of applause to Ma'am Donna May Baliton Gavina. Our resource speaker is a graduate of Special Science class of Taguig National High School. She is also a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Biology at the University of the Philippines, Baguio. She took up her master's degree at De La Salle University. She is currently working as a faculty member of the Department of Biological Sciences, College of Science of the University of Santo Tomas. She also co-authored a BMC Genomics published article entitled Comparative Transcriptome Profiling of Heat Stress Response of the Mangrove Crab Across Sites of Varying Climate Profiles. She is no other than Miss Krisa Ann Inocencio Lilagan. A round of applause, please.
Hi everyone, I am Miss Krisa Ann I. Lilagan, and currently I am a faculty member at the Department of Biological Sciences in the Pontifical University of Santo Tomas. Pero around 11 to 15 years ago, like you, I was also a special science class student at the Tayug National High School. And so right now, I am excited to give this talk to you, STEM students, so we could discuss more about science. Alright, so today I will be giving a talk entitled Life below water, problems and solutions. So in this talk, we will get a chance to know more about the Philippines' marine life, its current state, and the challenges and problems that have to be addressed. And we'll also see the role of science in providing solutions to these problems. So let me start by saying that water covers 71% of the Earth's surface. And of course, water is essential to our existence as this serves as our source for food, for energy, and for so much more. However, despite our oceans and bodies of water being so vast, we still manage to bring so much damage to it, which consequently results to a rapid decline in our resources. So if we look at the composition of the Earth's water, about 97% is found in the oceans as salt water, and only 3% is fresh water, which is distributed as glaciers, ice, groundwater, lakes, and rivers. So this graph right here shows us that much of our water resource is saline water, meaning it is too salty for drinking, for growing crops, and for other industrial uses. And only around 1% of the fresh water is available to us for our daily water supply needs. And this is because the 2% is stored as fresh water in glaciers and ice caps. So yung water coming from our faucet, which we use for washing dishes, washing clothes, and cooking, etc., that is coming from the 1%. So I do hope that we really put that in our mind and realize the value of these resources. Okay, so with that in mind, I would like to introduce to you the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, or in short, these are what we call the SDGs. And these SDGs are basically plan of action on different areas of our society. So for example, we have goal number 1, which is to end poverty, and goal number 2, which is to achieve food security and ensure that we have zero hunger. There are actually other SDGs, and we have a total of 17 SDGs, as we can see here. And these SDGs were adopted by different countries to improve human lives and, of course, to protect the environment. And one of these sustainable development goals is SDG number 14, which is life below water. And my talk for today will focus more on this. Now, under this goal, there are different targets, and those targets can be categorized to the following general points. So first is the prevention of pollution and ocean acidification. So since the advent or the start of industrialization, mas parami na ng parami yung nage-generate na garbage. And with the COVID-19 pandemic that we are currently experiencing, the use of disposable face masks, face shields, and other PPEs has become the new normal, right? And sadly, these materials, when not properly disposed, will ultimately end up in our river system and oceans, affecting now our marine and freshwater organisms. Second is the regulation of harvesting and elimination of overfishing and illegal fishing. So you might ask, why do we need to regulate harvesting of our marine and freshwater resources? Hindi ba pwedeng harvest lang tayo ng harvest? So this is so we can prevent the depletion of our wildlife resource. Because if we don't regulate, the tendency of people is we just get and get and get as much as we can. And because we think the more we harvest, the greater the profit. But this should not be our mindset, especially for our wildlife resources. Because if we overfish and we get the females and the juveniles or yung mga maliliit pa, then the organisms won't have the chance to reproduce. So baka sa next harvest kokonte or baka wala na makuha. So it's important to regulate so we can help keep the population of our organisms healthy. And in addition, we also want to eliminate illegal fishing because in illegal fishing, yung mga method of harvest, these methods damage the environment or the ecosystem, which consequently will cause a decline in the species population. Kasi, for example, dynamite fishing. This method damages our coral reef, which is the home of our different marine organisms. So, if sira yung habitat nila, then consequently, bababa din yung survival and population nila. Next is to enhance conservation and sustainable use of oceans and resources. So one way to conserve our marine resources is to designate key areas kung saan rich ang marine life into what we call marine protected areas. Okay, so this would restrict or limit yung human activities and other disturbances so that the ecosystem can be protected and the productivity and diversity of marine life are maintained. Lastly, to increase scientific knowledge and research capacity. So, may role ang science in attaining all these targets and goals. So, as STEM students, you all know that science is a body of knowledge that deals with facts and data. So, it's based on evidence, right? We follow a systematic method before we conclude onto something. So, we search and test and analyze existing facts and data. And then from there, we gain knowledge and understanding, which we can apply to create solutions and policies and technologies. So before we jump into the next part of our discussion, one simple yet powerful mantra that I would like to impart to you is to think globally and act locally. So this phrase can be interpreted in so many ways, but I want you to think of this in terms of protecting the environment. So consider this as an appeal for you to think about the problems that our world, which is our common home, is currently facing, and to provide solutions and take action in the country level or in our local communities. So with that, let's discover and get to know how much marine resources we have here in the Philippines and what their current states are. So alamin natin gaano ba tayo kayaman sa marine resources and kung ano-ano ba yung mga problema na kinakaharap ng yamang dagat natin. Alright, so did you know the Philippines is actually considered as the center of marine biodiversity. Philippines is part of the Coral Triangle, which is the epicenter of marine biodiversity. And this region has a large area where corals thrive, and these corals support the survival of different marine organisms. So this coral triangle includes portions of the waters of Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Timor-Leste, Papua New Guinea, and Solomon Islands. So when we look at it on a map, the area very roughly resembles a triangle shape, thus the name Coral Triangle. Now, the center of that epicenter is the Philippines. And the idea of the Philippines being the center of the center is from a research study conducted by Kent Carpenter and Victor Springer in 2005, where they noted na there is a higher concentration of species per unit area in the Philippines than anywhere else in this region. So, ibig sabihin nun, mas madami daw species per unit area sa Pilipinas compared sa mga karatig bansa natin. Pero what does it mean to be the center of marine biodiversity? Well, it just means we are rich with marine resources. So, may iba't ibang klase tayo ng species na present sa ating bansa. And according sa data from Haribon shown here in a publication material from Vince Bacana, there are 468 scleractinian corals. There are 1,755 species of reef-associated fishes, 648 species of mollusks, 19 species of seagrass, 820 species of algae, 3,212 fish species, and 731 fish species which are commercially important, meaning ito yung usually kinukonsume ng mga tao, mga present sa market and trading. So in another poster from Javier Siquia, meron daw over 3,000 species of fish which can be found here in the Philippines. And 120 doon ay endemic, meaning dito lang sa Pilipinas sila makikita. And there are 94 species which are already endangered. And there are 7 species of sea turtles known to exist in the world, and 5 dito makikita sa Pilipinas. And if you think mga palamuti or numbers lang yung mga yan, wala naman ganong value, no. All these are our natural capital. And natural capital are resources found in nature which are used to benefit people and support life. And as we can see here, our marine biodiversity is valued at $2.3 billion. Okay, so why? Because it supports economic growth through trading ng mga fishes and other raw materials coming from our oceans. They provide livelihood for our fisher folks, and it provides us with food supply, raw materials, and other services. So now we know that Philippines is the center of the epicenter of Earth's marine biodiversity. Pero sadly, I also have to let you know that the Philippines is also the third largest contributor of ocean plastic pollution. This number actually is from the year 2010, and the source is the Wall Street Journal. So the top 5 countries which pollute the oceans the most are China, Indonesia, Philippines, Vietnam, and Sri Lanka. So in the Philippines alone, 1.90 million metric tons of mismanaged plastic waste were generated, with an estimated 0.75 million metric tons of it ending up in our ocean. So with that, let's look at some of the problems that our marine waters are currently facing. Okay, so first is pollution. So with the fast-paced development and industrialization comes the generation of large volumes of waste materials which ultimately end up in our bodies of water. And as we can see here in the first photo, this is a case of a fish kill due to eutrophication. Eutrophication is when there is an excessive growth of plants or algae. And this excessive growth may be due to high volumes of nutrients present in the water, probably from fertilizers. So pag gumagamit ng agricultural fertilizers sa kalapit na farm, let's say, and umulan ng malakas, so nagkakaroon ng runoff, and that will drain sa mga rivers and lakes natin. And young fertilizers are full of nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus, which will promote the excessive growth of our algae. And so now when there is the excessive growth of these plants and algae, makukover niya ngayon yung surface ng water. And wala ng sunlight or kokonti na yung light na magpapass through going underwater, which consequently results to the loss of available oxygen for the fishes. And this causes fish kills. So the fishes die due to hypoxia or yung low blood levels. And with the excessive use of plastics, since they are non-biodegradable, they will just stay there for years. And some of this plastic may end up in the fish's gut. So, pwedeng kainin ng mga isda. And yung mga fish, kakainin din ng tao. So, in a way, bumabalik rin sa atin yung mga kalat natin. Next up is illegal fishing and overfishing. So, the use of dynamite or cyanide for fishing damages the coral reef. And it would end up like this sa bottom right photo. And when the coral reef is damaged, wala nang matitirhan yung mga fishes. So, mahihirapan sila mag-survive and eventually magkakaroon ng decline sa population nila. So, for overfishing, when we get too much of our resources, mas mabilis nauubos kesa nare-replenish, then what would we expect? Siyempre, bababa din yung supply. So, hindi siya sustainable. That's why it is important that we regulate fishing and harvesting. And also, there are some traditions practiced by some countries which hunt sea mammals. So, for example, in Faroe Island, so they hunt and kill dolphins. And on September 12 of this year, just this year, 1,400 dolphins were killed in Faroe Island. And this is being done annually, okay, every year. So imagine the amount of animals that we are losing due to these practices. Lastly, mismanaged resources. So illegal trade of our wildlife resources is still very rampant. There were news before that giant clams and sea turtles from the Philippine waters were harvested illegally. Okay, 200 tons of giant clams amounting to $25 million were harvested illegally. So those are our country's natural capital being illegally harvested, which some individuals are benefiting from. And if these activities don't stop, we might not be able to see some of these species of sea turtles giant clams, and other marine organisms in the near future, as they might become extinct already. So, in an online article, there are already 59 fish species in danger of extinction. And there was also the news of the use of dolomite for the rehabilitation of Manila Bay. While the intention is okay, the method might not be appropriate. So, as scientists warn, the dolomite sand could harm people's health and marine wildlife. So, this is why research is important for us to be able to evaluate muna what should be done in order to address the problem. Let us gather more facts, consult experts before we execute so that we do not harm and we won't waste resources. Okay, so those are just some of the challenges that we are facing. But now let's see where science comes into picture. So on this part of the talk, let's see the contribution naman of science in fisheries and aquaculture. So science is both a collection of knowledge and a systematic process. So we search and gather for as much available information and data for a specific topic or problem that we want to explore. Then, that undergoes a systematic process. So, di ba, remember your scientific method? So, you ask a question and identify the problem. You construct your hypothesis. You test your hypothesis, probably through experimentation. And then you analyze the data and draw your conclusion. But you know what? You don't stop there. You also have to communicate your results, because a science that is not communicated well is a dead science. So, importante na yung mga nag-generate na results and new information, napapublish yan so that it can be used as well for another innovation and to answer other problems as well. And what's great about the generation of new knowledge or discovery is that we can apply this knowledge to provide solutions to problems and to meet the basic needs of humans and improve life. So I think ito yung gusto kong ipaintindi din sa inyo, bakit kaya baliw na baliw sa research ang mga scientists. So others might have the impression na scientists, puro research, puro experimentation lang sa lab, and puro sulat ng papel. But those data and knowledge generated could be used as basis for, let's say, policy making. Kailangan ng data and information as basis sa pagbuo ng isang policy. Also, the results of years of experimentation could be translated to a technology. So the vaccine that we currently benefit from is a product of years of experimentation and data gathering. Yung pag-develop ng crops na resistant sa drought and pests are also products of research. And yung pag-determine kung saan ang key areas na dapat gawing marine protected areas, kailangan din ng research for that. So, science responds to demands, problems, and needs of the society. And as you can see, and I hope you agree, science is all around us, and science is for all of us. Okay, and let's look at some of the research studies done to address some of the problems, and hopefully this will make you more aware of some of the products of research for marine and aquaculture industry. So there's a research study led by Miss Lilibeth Buchol wherein her team discovered that nearly half of the fish which they sampled from Dumaguete, Bais, Manjuyod, and Ayungon, had microplastics in their digestive systems. So you might be wondering, ano kaya yung fish na to? It is the rabbit fish, which is one of the most consumed fish in the Philippines. So itong fish ay dinadry and we commonly call it danggit and is a staple breakfast for us Pinoys. So they found out that one fish from one locality had 44 fragments of microplastic which they identified as polypropylene. So imagine consuming a fish with plastic fragments inside. So this is already our reality. Okay, so this type of research yung sinasabi kong generation of new information or knowledge. So if we have this kind of data and information at hand, then this could be used as basis for, let's say, policy making, or this could be used to find more ways to combat the problem. Next up, we have a multidisciplinary team from De La Salle University which has developed a mobile application called Crabifier, and this is to help fisher folk distinguish crab species. So the team is from the Technologies for Biodiversity Use and Conservation Unit and Practical Genomics Laboratory, which is headed by Dr. Maria Carmen Lagman, Dr. Chona Abiledo, and Ms. Courtney Ngo. So now, you might ask, bakit ba kailangan ma-distinguish yung one crab species from the other? This is because they have different market value. So one species called Sila serrata is more preferred in the market because it can grow bigger in size. So for farmers, of course, this would mean more profit for them. So this mobile application was developed with that in mind, to aid fisher folks in correctly choosing or picking yung market preferred na giant mangrove crab, which is the Sila serrata. So another technology used for aquaculture is this diagnostic kit branded as JAMP Alert or One Amplification Kit. Kaya siya JAMP. J for one, then AMP, amplification. So this kit is an affordable and easy to use and reliable kit to detect yung early mortality syndrome sa mga shrimp. And the kit is the one that we see here on the left side. So this was developed by a research team from the University of Santo Tomas led by Dr. Mary Beth Maningas, and this project was funded by DOST PICAARD. So the white spot syndrome virus or WSSV is a virus which causes high mortality in shrimps, and consequently this leads to major economic loss in the shrimp farm. So it's important na yung mga shrimp farmers are able to detect the presence of the virus early. Okay, so kung meron bang virus yung mga shrimp nila or wala. But usually, diagnostic products for this is expensive and difficult to use. So now, this technology addresses that problem by providing a more affordable and easy-to-use technology that shrimp farmers can rely on. Now, last in our list is the mobile application Wild Alert, which was developed by Fetter John Kalanday through a partnership between DNR, Biodiversity Management Bureau, and USAID. So this application will aid users in identifying wildlife species, reporting wildlife crimes, and managing reports submitted from the fields. So this technology is useful to curb or reduce the illegal trade of our wildlife resources. Now you see there are different products of research which aim to improve the state of our marine resources. So before we end this talk, I'd like to show what it's like to do research and be in the field of science outside of the four corners of the classroom. So doing research could mean staying in a laboratory for hours doing experiments. So this is me doing an experiment before, I think 3 years ago na to, in a laboratory at De La Salle University for a research that I am doing. But you know, before doing any experiment, you should also read laboratory manuals and figure out how to properly use different equipment before actually using it, because these materials are expensive. And of course, ayaw natin masayang or masira. So we should arm ourselves with information before actually doing the experiment. Okay, doing research also entails data collection, and sometimes, or most of the time, you will find out that what you have done is wrong. So science is really a trial and error. So you will meet bumps and roadblocks along the way, but these are opportunities for you to improve. Okay, so sometimes yung error na nagawa mo would mean you have to do the procedure all over again. So it may be tiring and exhausting, but you do it because without these mistakes, you will not get better at what you do. Okay, so once all your experimentation is done and you've collected all your data, it's now time to analyze your data. So finding the right tool to analyze the data is the key. So the challenge here is you might need to learn how to operate different software to do this, and yun medyo mahirap. This is the time when you would spend lots and lots of time staring at your computer or laptop, figuring out what to do with the numbers or information you have collected. Now, one of the fun parts of doing research is the fieldwork. So here we visited a crab farm in Mindoro to collect our crab samples, which will be used for our experiment. So fieldwork is an integral part of research because you get to hear from the people on the ground. So maririnig mo yung mga fisher folks, mga LGUs, para mo silang makausap and ask what is the problem they're facing. And how could our research be relevant to them, because it is important that we bring science to the people or to those who need it. Okay, next is more fieldwork. So when you do research, you get the chance to travel a lot for work. But it is also an opportunity for you to explore more of what you can do. So you will be trained to think critically and to be resourceful, because you don't always have the things that you will be needing kasi you are in the field after all. So wala ka sa comfort ng laboratory or ng office. So you will also be trained to organize and plan ahead. So oftentimes it would mean waking up early in the morning, maybe around 3 or 4 a.m., carrying so much luggage for you to catch a bus or catch your plane going to your destination. Yan. And lastly, presentations. So you don't keep the knowledge to yourself. You share it with others. So whether that is a research proposal, a result of your experiment, or a method or procedure that you can pass on to your colleagues or peers, you have to present it. Okay, so here is a workshop or training that our team conducted in a university in Palawan where we demonstrated different molecular biology techniques so that we can further equip them with skills needed in the laboratory. Okay, so I want to close this talk with a quote by Bill Nye, which says, "There is nothing I believe in more strongly than getting young people interested in science and engineering for a better tomorrow for all humankind." And I feel the same way. So I strongly believe in your ability as STEM students. You students are the future leaders of the country. So you will be the future experts in different fields and you will have the power to make a change and make a better tomorrow for all of us. So, science has provided us with information for us to be aware, okay, but it will do nothing unless you act on it. So, this talk is not just for you to be aware, but also to spark some action. So, I hope that this talk has somehow informed and inspired you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Krisa and I Lilagan, for that very substantial discussion. Truly, our students learned a lot from your topic. Thus, we would like to award you the Certificate of Recognition. Let me read the text. Certificate of Recognition. This certificate is awarded to Krisa Ann I. Lilagan in grateful acknowledgement of her invaluable service as resource speaker during the symposium in celebration of the school-based National Science Club Month held on September 21, 2021, given this 21st day of September 2021. Signed, Revelyn C. Camacho, PhD, Head Teacher 6, Science. Signed, Feby F. Kagawaan, Principal 4. Once again, a round of applause to Ma'am Krisa Ann I. Lilagan. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Virtual Symposium 2021 in celebration of the NSCM. I am Mark Angelbert B. July, and in behalf of the YESO, PSYSC, Research Consortium and Robotics, we would like to say thank you.